Hello and welcome to HBCU Highlights. My name is Andrea Evans and I'm here with my co-host Ashley Deadwyler-Jones, and we are so excited today. We're feeling good. We're feeling healthy because we have this medical mogul here with us. So if anything happens, we're in good hands. I'd like to introduce you all to our Spelman sister, class of 98 Spelman alum, Dr. Nicolle Martin. And Dr. Nicolle, we are so excited to have you here. Now, I know you had a lot of choices when it was time to go to college. Why did you choose to go to Spelman College?
Well, so it's a really good story why I chose. Of course, I just want to start by saying, Spelman College back in our day was known to be, one of the top elite schools, especially, for African Americans. And so, during that time in the early 90s, we did, look around at a lot of colleges. So we went on some college tours, and I actually had my choice. So I am from Chicago, born and raised, and my dad is a Chicago police officer. And because he was a Chicago police officer, we were able to get full tuition at some of the colleges and universities inside the city of Chicago. And so the choice for my parents were for us to attend the University of Chicago because we could have gotten a partial or full ride scholarship. But, we were still, looking at different colleges and universities. And so we were like, no, I think, this HBCU thing we're kind of onto something. Even though in my high school, we didn't talk a lot about HBCUs, it was a lot of, educating yourself. And remember when A Different World came out back in the day? So that even solidified, our thoughts, HBCUs, they're the place to go, they're the place to be. And so applied to, Xavier, got in, partial scholarship, Spelman, FAMU, Howard, I even got into Yale. And so I was like, where am I going, But, something has always, we were always talking about Spelman College, but so my mom, I'm an identical twin sister, right? And so in high school, we wanted to go to medical school. So we were interested in medicine. So when you're in high school, there's this program called CHAMPS program, Chicago Area Health, Medical, and Careers Program. And so that program prepared you to go to medical school. If you wanted to, they put your foot in the door. And so Xavier was really well known to graduate Black doctors, right? So, my mom was like, my mom and dad, you're going to Xavier. Xavier was fine. Xavier was a great choice. But it was something about Spelman College, and you heard Dr. Janetta B. Cole talk, and you knew Spelman was just number one. I said, well, I can still go to HBCU. I can still go to Spelman College. I can still graduate and go to medical school. So finally, we were on our way to Xavier, though, and it wasn't until 2 months before Spelman College had their, when we entered the class in August, I think it was the beginning or middle of August, I can't remember. It wasn't until like June. My mom actually came into our room and she said, you know what, me and your dad were talking about it because we didn't get full rides to Spelman. She said, we were talking about it and we will let you all go to Spelman College. We were like, what? So that meant no scholarship. So, my parents really had to buckle down. And, they paid our tuition, both of us. So my mom would tell us the story so my mom's paycheck went to our tuition so she never saw the paycheck. She didn't want to see it. And then my dad kept the household up. So that's how we got to Spelman College. My parents sacrificed, yes, they did, to get us into Spelman College. So.
Yeah. Wow.
And I really, really, really love that we went to Spelman College. That was the best decision I could have ever made. And I even tell, children to this day, like, college is a major decision, and it can affect you, good or bad, for the rest of your life. But you know, you want to put yourself in a good position. And Spelman College was definitely it.
Wow, wow. A lot of us went through that, you know.
Yeah.
I I certainly had scholarships to go to other places, and for my family to have to finance me to go to Spelman, and for me to then have to, you know, pay back loans and all that stuff. But I never regretted it. And it sounds like you have absolutely no regrets. But
No regrets. No regrets.
it's a beautiful time for all of us. So talk to us about that, your time at Spelman, what that experience was like. Were you pre-med, or were you, talk to me about what
Right. So I was pre-med. So, you know, when we got there, when I got there, and my twin sister, we were pre-med, right? So I said, when you have to choose a major, what major do I want to be? Do I want to be biology, you know, chemistry? That didn't really excite me as much as me just wanting to be a doctor, but you know, I did like psychology. So, you know, psychology, I said, I could do psych pre-med, I could do psychology pre-med. So, you know, I chose that in the beginning. And I said, okay, so I can take all of my pre-med courses, because I thought that maybe I wanted to be a psychiatrist, right? So I have my psychology degree and my pre-med, and that prepares me to go, you know, to medical school. Well, you know, during that time, you know, in college, you kind of know what you want to do, but you still want to try different majors, see if you can do this, see if you can do that. So I had my hand a little bit in business. So I took an econ class. I said, well, maybe I should do econ pre-med, or maybe I should do theater, do theatrics. I took a few theater courses at Spelman. And then I said, well, maybe I just want to be, then there was maybe a good 6 months. I thought, well, maybe I don't want to go to medical school. Maybe I'll just be a psychologist. Maybe I'll just be a clinical psychologist, go to graduate school and be a clinical psychologist. So I said, so I went back and forth with that. Then something told me, like in my senior year. So let me go back. So junior year, I still was like, you know, I don't know if I want to do medical school. So I didn't take the MCAT. So usually in your junior year, you take the MCAT, right? So I didn't take it because I said, well, no, I'm going to be a psychologist. I'm going to go to graduate school. Then my senior year, I said, something woke me up. I said, Nicolle, you've been working all this time to go to medical school. Just do it. You know, just do it. You can always, you know, go back and, you know, do your dream, look, you know, do what you've been talking about, but just do it. So I graduated Spelman, and it wasn't until the following year that I graduated Spelman, that I took the MCAT. But during that time, you know, I was a victim advocate for Atlanta Municipal Court. So I was still going through that thing where, you know, I do want to go to medical school, but do I really? So I tell a lot of the children too, that especially going into college, you may change your major, your thought 3, 4, 5 different times. Just make sure you do what you want to do. So I'm still going kind of back and forth. So I'm working for Atlanta Municipal Court, and that's actually where I met Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. She was actually city solicitor then. And so we were working together at that time. I was in the courtroom, I was a victim advocate, and she was a city solicitor. And so we would have our conversations. And so during that time, I was saying, well, you know, maybe I should I'm debating on if I should go to law school, because this is the environment that I was working in, or if I should go to medical school. It was so funny. She was like, go to medical school. And her colleague, Johnny Story, because we would talk about this every day, like, you know, and then he was like, yeah, go to medical school. He said, you would have to absolutely love the law. And I said, yeah, you know, I've been kind of figuring. I said, well, it's good that I'm talking to you all. So I said, you know, I figured that I don't know why I've been avoiding this medical school thing. So I may as well just do it, right? So it wasn't until maybe a year or so later that I finally, you know, took the MCAT and like really made the serious effort to go to medical school.
Well, you did it,
I
Dr.
did it.
Nicolle. You
I
are
did it.
a doctor.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, you did it. You are a medical doctor, and it sounds like Spelman definitely prepared you to have those options, you know, to be able to say, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor. You had two great options, and you chose to be a medical doctor. And we're so proud of you that you are a medical doctor. And so I want to know, how did Spelman prepare you to be the doctor that you are today?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. And I like to tell people, and this was my true experience, Spelman is a great place for nurturing, for educating. So, you know, you have a group of, you know, smart, talented women that, you know, are your peers, and they challenge you. And so, you know, when I came from Hyde Park Career Academy, that was my high school, you know, I was number 3 in my class. I was so smart in high school. Then you get to Spelman, and you're like, oh wow, everybody's smart. You know, it's definitely been a challenge, and Spelman prepares you. You know, and I like to talk about, you know, the special classes that we take. We have, you know, we have the African diaspora in the world. You know, we have those kinds of classes that kind of ground you as African American women. And I say that it's important that we get that grounding, that foundation, especially at that age, and then we can always go out into the world and conquer the world. So by the time I finished Spelman, you know, I was confident in what I've learned. You know, I was confident in what I'm going to learn and who I'm going to be around. Spelman actually prepared me for that. As I think with most HBCUs, and that's the uniqueness about attending an HBCU.
So Nicolle, for those that are watching who are on the fence about whether or not they want to, you know, leave this career and go to medical school or whatever that, you know, that is for them. But if medical school is their choice, you know, you seem like, you know what, I'm smart, I can do it, whatever. What would I be getting myself into? Talk about that experience going to medical school.
Well, it's a lot, but no, it's a lot, and it's going to take your enthusiasm and your passion to really, you know, want to care for people. So when I was teaching at Morehouse School of Medicine, so I was assistant professor and teaching at Morehouse School of Medicine for several years, I would always have like the MPH students, and students come up to me and say, hey, you know, I want to go to medical school, but you know, they have these careers, but they're getting their masters, right? And so they're like, I don't know if I can go back. I don't know if I want to do it. I say, well, you know, if you have this thought that you want to do medicine, you want to go to medical school, do it now. I said that those 4 years are going to pass by whether you like it or not. So you may as well spend time doing what you want to do. I said, that's going to take a lot of hard work, maybe a lot of sleepless nights, because it's a lot of work. So your first 2 years are, you know, classwork, studying day in, day out. It's a lot of work. I mean, you do get a chance to have a social life, but you have to carve it out. And then your last 2 years are like usually clinical work. But I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's doable. And if this is something that you want to do, do it. It's a long road, but it's worth it. So I say it affords a lot of opportunities that you may not have otherwise. And if it's something that you've been dreaming of, you should do it. So I had my great uncle. He was 71 years old when I was in college, and he knew that I was kind of going between, you know, medical school, law school, kind of what I wanted to do. And I took these words from him, and he would say, well, you see, I'm 71 years old now, and you have a lot of time in my age to sit back and think about what I would have done, what I could have done. You know, he said, you're at the age now, do what you want to do. Otherwise, you're going to be my age thinking back what I would have done, what I could have done, so he was a janitor in a fire department, and he wanted to be a firefighter. Well, he was, you know, older. Back at that time, they didn't hire Black men as firefighters, but he wonders, what if he would have strived for it? What if he would have gone for it? So I took that to heart, because I said, I didn't want to be in my older age saying, well, I wanted to do this. So I did it. So I say all to everybody, you're going to get into a lot of, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of dedication. After medical school, you have residency, depending on what you decide to study. It can be either 3 to 5 to 7 years of study, of residency, fellowship training, but it's absolutely worth it.
Well, it's just so impressive and inspiring that your uncle would push you and motivate you.
Yes.
That one story has instilled in you that hard work pays off, and all that woulda, coulda, shoulda,
All that woulda, coulda, shoulda. You don't want to have any regrets. Because he said, even if you find out that you don't like it, you still know that you've tried, instead of wondering what if. So. Well,
I love that he told you that story, and I know people watching are feeling inspired and motivated. But I want to go back to Spelman. You worked hard while you were at Spelman, but you had a lot of fun too. And I have to tell you all, Dr. Nicolle says she has an identical twin sister, and they are identical. So that means you could see one walking left and the other walking right. You'd have to do a double take if you didn't know that she had this identical twin sister. So that's amazing to have twins, to have a twin sister, first of all, and then for your parents to make that sacrifice to say, look, I know you all got this scholarship, but we're going to make this sacrifice because you want to be at Spelman. So you pushed and you wanted to be there and you made it to Spelman. What's one of your favorite memories at Spelman? And that could be with or without your sister, even though I've never seen you without your sister. I'm thinking we should have brought her in, but we're going to have an interview with your sister. But what's your favorite memory of Spelman College? Because everything you said about medical school reminded me of Spelman. It was that balance of fun and also the balance of that rigorous academics. So tell us more about your favorite, most memorable experience at Spelman.
Oh, wow. There's so many. Oh, goodness. Okay. So Spelman was, we had a lot of fun. So favorite memories, living in Abbey Hall. That's my dorm, and that's you all's dorm too.
No, I'm LLC.
Oh, you were LLC. Okay, right. You were LLC.
That was my dorm. That was my dorm.
Actually, yeah, we were. Yes. You know how we would go and get on these buses to take us to these parties. So I remember getting on these buses to go to these parties at the warehouse. That was so much fun because we didn't have cars. And so, we either had to get on public transportation. Public transportation didn't run that late. Okay, so we would get on these buses that they would transport us to these clubs. We would go and have a good time. You got to make sure you got back on the bus so you can get back to your dorm. That was such a fun time. Oh my gosh, living on campus. Those were good times. But then our junior year, we did live off campus, and we had some great house parties off campus too. Because during that time there was Freaknik. I know a lot of people don't like to talk about Freaknik, but during that time there was Freaknik. But we had a good time. We had so many friends come in town, and they get to see the school. Actually, they get to see where we were. And they, this is Spelman. Oh, this is Morehouse. So they got to see that. But then we had a great time. Yeah, those were some good times.
Actually, that put a smile on her face. She had a good time that night at the warehouse.
She had to pause and say, wait a minute, do I want to share that time?
Those are good times.
I know. Now, look, you had a lot of good times, right? We had fun. We did. There's no doubt about it.
Yes.
And I'm like you, Andrea. I'm like, wait a minute. The net needs to be in this interview. But is there anything that, when you look back at your Spelman experience, that you feel like maybe I would have done this a little different, if I had a chance to go back? And it could be not at all. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's a good question. I probably would go and do like a study abroad or something. I didn't do that. And the way I like to travel now and see other parts of the world, I would have done a study abroad. I know because I was a science major, psych pre-med major, they kind of discouraged you from doing study abroad, but you could have done it if you, put more effort to it. But because it was discouraged, I said, oh no, but I think I would have done that. I would have pushed for that more, at least to study a semester somewhere in like, Spain or something. Because I've always wanted to speak another language too. And, and I love to travel now. I think that would have been a good thing for me to do. And so now I try to encourage the youngins, I call them the youngins, the young people that are in college, to do a study abroad if you so inclined. So.
It seems like yesterday we were just walking into the gates of Spelman College. So to hear you call someone a youngin means that we're older. So I'm not going to claim that during the but speaking of the next generation, I am just so impressed by your nephew. So for those of you who may not know, Dr. Nicolle's twin sister's son is at Morehouse College. And so to have a nephew experience the AUC and go to Morehouse College, how does that make you feel? And did you all impress upon him in any way that he should be going to Morehouse, especially because he grew up in Atlanta?
So proud of him, so proud. And yes, we absolutely encouraged him to attend Morehouse College. And he was, resistant. And so what I want to say, a lot of times, the young people think that HBCUs are irrelevant, right? So they think that, this education is irrelevant and it doesn't prepare you for the real world. And I tell you, and I tell them that absolutely it does. It gives you that grounding and that foundation that you may not otherwise receive at a PWI. So he was thinking this. So he, was among the young people who think that HBCUs are not relevant. But what my sister and I, were able to, his mom, we were able to show him that you see all these successful Black people around you, and these were all HBCU graduates. And so he had to think twice about that. And so, yes, we did impress upon him attending Morehouse College. And, finally, he did agree. So, because he actually was accepted to Morehouse, to Howard, and to those other PWIs that we don't, I don't know all the names of them. But we, he was listening. He was listening and finally decided on Morehouse College. So we're so very proud. And he just crossed over. Now he's an Alpha. So I'm so absolutely proud of him.
Awesome.
So smart. He's an engineering major. So it's absolute joy to see.
That's good to know. And my oldest son, he always talks about his interest in being an engineer. So I'll have to make sure I make that connection. But but as far as profession, we know that you're a medical doctor. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that you've done some, practice. You practiced for a while, but now you're actually on the corporate side of medicine. Talk to us about what you've done and what you're doing now, and kind of the difference between that. And maybe you're doing a little bit of both.
Right. Yeah. So I'm doing a little bit of both. So I did preventive medicine residency and family medicine. So I'm double board certified in family medicine and preventive medicine. So I did some practice, medical director of a chiropractic clinic, where we were looking to do an integrative healthcare practice. And I did some teaching. So I was assistant professor, did some teaching at Morehouse School of Medicine for several years. And so now I am medical director of a health insurance company, but I also help busy professionals use preventive and integrative therapies for their health. So I do that kind of on the side because I still want to maintain some type of private practice, even though I'm in corporate America now. And so I do that where, I do some counseling, some coaching, just to live a healthier life. So it's great that there are more doctors now that are focusing on lifestyle changes. So you have this lifestyle medicine, you have American College of Lifestyle Medicine, American College of Preventive Medicine, even American College of Obesity Medicine. So now that I love the shift, I love the focus on medicine where we're trying to be more prevention based, as opposed to, you know, reactive, treating conditions. How about let's prevent you from getting a heart attack or stroke? So that's really what I'm enjoying right now.
Well, I love that when you talk about what you do, you are smiling, and I know our viewers are smiling from ear to ear. I'm proud of your nephew. I'm proud of you and all the great things that you are doing as a medical doctor. And Ashley and I want to thank you so much for spending some time with us today and sharing your inspiring story. And so everyone watching wants to know, where can they follow you on social media, and where can they find out about these services, like you said, because we want to be more reactive. You know, we want to basically prevent the cause of our illnesses through this integrative medicine, change our lifestyles, and especially now more than ever. So please tell us more where we can follow you and find out more about the services you offer.
Definitely. And I just want to remind everyone that, you know, I am double board certified, so I'm family medicine and preventive medicine trained. And once again, you know, I help busy professionals use preventive and integrative therapies to not only improve the symptoms of many illnesses, but to truly cure some illnesses. And that's what really saves lives. So I am developing programs and seminars and books, and that will help you get healthy and stay healthy. So you can find me on all social media platforms at www.drnicollemd.com. That is www.drnicollemd.com. Yes, you spell my name with 2 L's. I have to make sure I spell that out for people.
Well, thanks again for the motivation and the confidence that you've given some of us who are interested in going into your field. You just seem like, you know, just take it easy. Just do it. It'll come. And it's just like I tell my kids, if you want to eat an elephant, just take one bite at a time and you'll get there. So we really, again, we appreciate you. And we thank you for your time today, Nicolle.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure and honor. I had fun.